At sunrise, San Juan looks like an American escape route. Blue water, warm streets, and palm trees moving in the wind. But there is a rule hidden beneath the postcard. Here, you can carry a U.S. passport, spend U.S. dollars, and board a flight to Miami without crossing a border. Yet, on election day, your vote for president disappears. An invisible border drawn not by geography, but by law. A U.S. citizen in Orlando is a voter. The same citizen in San Juan is a subject. This is Puerto Rico, the world's oldest colony, disguised as a tropical paradise. And to understand how it got here, we have to look at the scars on its coast. Right now, you are flying from New York to Miami. Same sky, same airlines, same TSA lines. But when you land, your political voice changes. Not because you crossed into another country, because you landed in Puerto Rico. At sunrise, San Juan looks like America's easiest escape. Blue water, warm streets, palm trees bending in the trade winds. The smell of coffee slips out of corner cafes. Reggaeton leaks from car windows. U.S. dollars pass from hand to hand like anywhere else in America. No passport, no border stamp, no foreign currency. On paper, you are still inside the United States. But then, election day arrives. And something disappears. Your vote for president. Same citizen, same passport, different address. Move to Orlando, and your ballot helps choose the most powerful person on earth. Stay in San Juan, and that same president can govern your life. But you cannot vote for them while living here. That is the first shock of Puerto Rico. Not the beaches, not the resorts. Not the postcard version sold to Americans looking for a cheap Caribbean weekend. The shock is that this island belongs to the United States, but does not experience America the way a state does. It is close enough to feel familiar, far enough to be ignored. And that contradiction is not hidden in a museum, it is in everyday life. It is in the young person wondering if their future is in Florida. It is in the family paying American prices, but living with island uncertainty. It is in the quiet question behind every beautiful street, every beach, every bright balcony. What does it mean to belong to a country that can claim you, but not fully hear you? Puerto Rico is not just far from the mainland by ocean, it is far from the center of power. And to understand how people live here today, we have to look past the tropical escape, into the homes, the blackouts, the rising costs, and the people deciding whether to stay. Puerto Rico is small enough to cross in a single day. From San Juan to the mountains, from traffic to mist, from concrete to rainforest, from the sound of car horns to the sound of water falling through leaves. On a map, it looks like one island, but on the ground, it feels like many different worlds pressed tightly together. There is the Puerto Rico of San Juan. Hot, crowded, fast, loud. Tourists roll suitcases over old streets. Cars crawl beside the coast. The air smells like gasoline, fried food, ocean salt, and coffee. But drive away from the capital, and the island changes. The roads begin to climb, the air cools. Houses cling to green hillsides. Clouds hang low over the mountains like smoke. In small towns, life moves by rain, by road conditions, by who knows who, and by how far you are from the next reliable service. Here, distance is not measured only in miles. It is measured in elevation, in road curves. How long your home can keep going if the power cuts out. Then there is Puerto Rico of the coast. Fishing boats, salt wind, small docks. Families who can read the sea before a weather app can explain it. The ocean here is beautiful, but it is not decoration. It feeds people. It warns people. It decides when work can happen and when everyone stays home. And then there is El Yunque, the only tropical rainforest in the U.S. National Forest System. Less than 29,000 acres, smaller than many American suburbs, but inside it, the island feels ancient, wet, alive. Water runs over stone. Giant leaves catch the rain. The air sticks to your skin. Human noise fades until the forest begins to speak for itself. And at night, one sound rises above everything: the coqui. A tiny frog with a voice that belongs completely to Puerto Rico. For tourists, it is a cute sound in the dark. For Puerto Ricans, it is something deeper. It is home. When the island goes quiet, the coqui remains. Small, stubborn, unmistakable. And that is Puerto Rico itself. Small on the map, but impossible to reduce to one story. In Puerto Rico, danger does not always arrive like a monster. Sometimes it arrives as a flicker. A ceiling fan slows down. A refrigerator hums once, then goes silent. A phone drops from 5 bars to 1. Somewhere down the street, a generator coughs awake. For millions of Americans on the mainland, a blackout is an interruption. In Puerto Rico, for many families, it is a possibility built into the architecture of daily life. This is not a story about one storm. It is about what happens after years of learning that the system above you may not always hold. So homes begin to change. A water tank appears on the roof. A battery sits in the corner of the living room. A small generator waits outside, covered from the rain. Families know which neighbor has extra ice, which cousin has a working signal, which store might still be open if the power fails before dinner. None of this feels dramatic from the outside, but that is what makes it heavy. The danger is not always the hurricane. It is the exhaustion of being ready for the next failure before it even arrives. For a young child, a power cut can mean a night without cool air and thick Caribbean heat. For an elderly parent, it can mean medicine that needs to stay cold. For a small restaurant, it can mean a freezer full of food turning into a loss they cannot afford. For a family trying to work online, it can mean one more day where the island's uncertainty reaches directly into their income. This is survival, but not the kind shown in disaster movies. No explosions, no screaming crowds. Just people quietly building a second version of normal, one that works when the first one breaks. And that is the strange reality of Puerto Rico today. A place where beauty can surround you, music can fill the street, the ocean can shine like glass. And still, in the back of everyone's mind, there is a question waiting. What happens if it all shuts off again? So people adapt, not because they want to live this way, because waiting is more dangerous. Because depending on a fragile system means learning how to stand when it fails. And across the island, house by house, family by family, Puerto Ricans are building something the mainland often takes for granted. A sense of safety, but an island cannot survive on backup plans forever. To understand why people still stay, we have to look at something stronger than electricity. The food, the music, the families, and the culture that make Puerto Rico feel impossible to leave. In Puerto Rico, resilience does not always look like someone fixing a power line in the rain. Sometimes, it looks like a grandmother setting one more plate on the table because she knows somebody will stop by. It looks like garlic hitting hot oil, like steam rising from rice, like plantains being crushed by hand until they become something warm. Heavy and comforting. Mofongo is not just mashed plantain, it is the texture. Soft in the center, rough at the edges, salty, garlicky, soaked with broth, shaped by the sound of a wooden pestle striking again and again. Tostones are not just fried plantains. They are the crunch between your teeth, the thin layer of salt on your fingers, the heat of oil still trapped beneath the surface. Food here does more than feed people, it gathers them. Around small tables, in loud kitchens, outside roadside stands where the air smells like pork, smoke, coffee, and rain on concrete. A cup of Puerto Rican coffee is not just caffeine. It is an excuse to pause, to ask about someone's mother, to complain about the power, to talk longer than planned. After everything this island has carried, these ordinary moments become a kind of protection. Then the drums begin. Bomba and plena are not museum pieces. They are not background music for tourists passing through. They are living rhythms. Hands strike the drum. Feet answer. A singer calls out, and the crowd responds. The music does not just perform identity, it keeps it awake. In a place where systems can fail, culture becomes infrastructure. Not wires, not roads, not power plants, something older. A way of making sure nobody disappears inside their own struggle. This is the Puerto Rico that cannot be measured by outages, income, or migration numbers. The island held together by kitchens, neighbors, music, and memory. The infrastructure may be fragile, but the community is not. And that is why the hardest question here is not how people survive Puerto Rico. It is why, after everything, so many still cannot imagine leaving it. The hardest question in Puerto Rico is not whether the island is beautiful. It is. The hardest question is not whether life here can be difficult. It can. The hardest question is this: would you stay in the place you love if your future seemed easier somewhere else? For Puerto Ricans, leaving does not always look like immigration. There is no border crossing, no visa interview, no new country waiting on the other side. Just a plane ticket, a few hours over the ocean. And suddenly, the same passport that felt limited on the island can open a different kind of life in Florida, New York, Texas, or Pennsylvania. That is the strange freedom of Puerto Rico. You can leave easily, and that is also the wound. Because when people leave, they do not just disappear from a statistic. They disappear from dinner tables, from classrooms, from neighborhood basketball courts, from Sunday mornings at the bakery. From the chair beside an aging parent who says they understand, even when they wish you would stay. More than 100,000 people have vanished from Puerto Rico's daily life since 2020. Not vanished from memory, vanished from the island. And for those who remain, the island keeps changing around them. Tourism brings money. New investment brings construction. Short-term rentals bring visitors into streets that once felt purely local. None of this is simple. Visitors are not the villain. Growth is not the enemy. But in some neighborhoods, the question becomes painful. Who gets to enjoy Puerto Rico, and who still gets to afford living there? That is where the emotional center of the island begins to show. Puerto Rico is not just fighting to survive storms, blackouts, or rising costs. It is fighting for the right of its people to remain connected to the place that made them. Because leaving home is never just about distance. It changes the way you speak, the food you crave, the music that catches you off guard in a grocery store aisle. The way your body reacts when you hear the coquí again after years away. For many Puerto Ricans, the island is not simply where they live. It is where their identity was built. So staying is not always practical. Leaving is not always betrayal. And being forced out is not always visible until a family realizes the next generation may only know Puerto Rico through summer visits and stories. That is the deepest contradiction here. Puerto Rico gives its people a door to the mainland. But every open door also asks a question. What part of yourself do you leave behind when you walk through it? Puerto Ricans know the island is not easy. They know the power can fail, the cost of living can rise, and the next generation may build a future somewhere across the ocean. But knowing all of that does not make the love weaker. In some ways, it makes it stronger. Because Puerto Rico is not just a place people live. It is the sound of coquí at night, the smell of food coming from a kitchen, the rhythm of a drum in the street, the feeling that even when life becomes uncertain, you are still connected to something older than fear. Puerto Rico does not need to be seen as a broken version of America. It deserves to be seen as a place still writing its own way to survive. So if leaving could make life easier, but staying kept a part of you alive, what would you choose? Please leave a comment below to let us know.